The Warriors are going to be fine. I am so much more focused, and we're going to get CJ Holmes in here, Chronicle, on the beat with the Warriors. Can't wait to hear his insight. I'm so much more focused on what this is emblematic of, the larger picture of the young Bucks coming up and wanting their shine and their space, while the old guard is going to hold on to theirs for as long as possible. Like, come on, we all should have seen this coming. I don't think this is going to be the only time. So CJ Holmes jumps in here on Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. We'll get to your phone calls right after at 888-957-9570. CJ, right? Like this is, it's kind of predictable, and I think there might be more of this. This is a dynamic with this group, no?
No, I really don't think so. It just, to me, the situation kind of feels overblown in a way. You never want to exactly hear about teammates, getting in the scuffles at practice. One teammate, swinging at another. But at the end of the day, being inside the walls of Chase Center and being around this team for the past week in Japan, there is no indication, that, at least in terms of my senses, that there's any real substantial beef between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. Again, like I said, it's not necessarily the things that you want to hear coming out of practice, but at the same time, sometimes teammates get into it. And I know Draymond has a history of things like this, but sometimes teammates get into it. It's the nature of competition. If you had a team and then you guys didn't butt heads from time to time, I'd be worried. But to me, it just kind of feels like this situation is, kind of being overblown a little bit. I've talked to some people inside the organization, and they do believe, that Draymond, kind of crossed the line a little bit and will be punished for his actions. But then they don't think that this is something that's serious or in line with, what was going on with KD, or that this will be a problem going forward. I think they view this as an isolated incident that they will handle internally as a team, and then they will move on from this. According to reports, Draymond apologized afterwards. That's a good sign. And, obviously Jordan wasn't injured and finished up practice. And, when the media was led into the gym yesterday, Jordan's out on the side court shooting like there's nothing going on.
So, CJ, I want to make sure that you're clear with what I was throwing at you. I don't think there's a beef. I don't think there's a beef between Jordan and Draymond. I think there is an obvious dynamic from young NBA players blending with players who have had unmatched success. Like, in other words, Jordan Poole wants that shine. Jordan Poole wants a bag. He wants minutes. I think he thinks he's a number one in this league. And so there will obviously be a thing there as the Currys and Draymonds and Clays want to hang on to what's theirs, and Jordan wants to grow. And I think that's gonna be, that already has been a thing, in my opinion.
Again, I just don't agree. You can even look back at media day, and Jordan's asked about his upcoming contract situation. I think he handled that with class, and he kind of carries himself with class for the most part. I don't see him as a guy who's going to act different or walk around with his chest poked out just because he has a payday coming. I talked to Jordan's parents. I got to know Jordan a little bit with some stories I've written about him throughout the season, and again, there's nothing to indicate that he's a guy who would have that kind of character. And now, granted, that's just the nature of the game, right? Young guys come in and they're being groomed to eventually take, these older guys' spots. But I don't think these older guys on this Warriors teams are insecure in any way. I think in many ways they're excited and happy to foster in this next generation and keep the winning in this organization going. But I don't think Jordan's going to be disrespectful about his payday, and I certainly don't think that this altercation had anything to do with contract situation.
So where do we go from here? What do you think that the organization does in terms of punishment? We've all kind of discussed that there's no way they sit him out for ring night, but what is appropriate and what does the organization do to punish Draymond for what he did wrong?
I'm not sure. Again, like you said, I don't think they sit him for ring night. That's the night where they want to be whole and as a team, play against the Los Angeles Lakers in an NBA TNT primetime game, I believe. Perhaps a fine of some sort is, more appropriate, or, maybe he does sit one of those first, few games of the season. But again, they felt like Draymond crossed the line. Because of that, he will be punished. But the team does not think that this is going to be a distraction going forward, or that there is any type of bad blood between Jordan and Draymond. I think the team expects these guys to hash this stuff out as men, and they're going to go forward.
CJ Holmes, Chronicle on the Warrior beat with us, Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. So, CJ, how would you handicap the Poole contractual situation going forward? You believe that there is an extension looming early in the season, or do they play this thing out to the end?
I think that they're more likely to play this thing out to the end simply because of the fact that Jordan is a restricted free agent. Guys like Tyler Hero, R.J. Barrett, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Simons in Portland. The bar has already been set to what kind of money Jordan Poole can expect, and it's probably going to be in the 4-year, 100 and, anywhere between 100 and 100 and $50, $60, $1 million range. And because of that, I do think that the Warriors are more likely to let Jordan play this season out, because at the end of the day, they'll be in a position to match any offer sheet he might receive from another team. So with that said, allowing Jordan to play out the season will, give them some more time to, evaluate the roster and, truly make a decision on, where they should allocate their money.
Draymond Green wanted a max. He openly declared as such. The Warriors did nothing on that front. Where do you think the Draymond Green future lies in terms of his player option and ability for him to get a long-term deal here?
I think a lot of that's going to be based on how Draymond performs this season. Before he got hurt last year, he was arguably the best defender in the game. Defensive Player of the Year front runner, was having one of the better seasons that he's had in a while. And, that's one thing that has always thrown me. I haven't been on the beat long, but that's one thing that kind of, throws me about, Draymond's just whole dynamic, right? When he's injured, missing all these games, all Warriors fans can talk about is, man, just wait till Draymond's back. Just wait till Draymond's back. And then, stuff like this happens where, you have conflicting reports out here about, what went down in the practice gym and stuff. And all you see on social media is a lot of fans like, I'm tired of Draymond. Let's move on from Draymond. Well, that's not what fans were saying last year. When he was missing all those games, they couldn't wait to see him back on the court. But, I'm kind of getting off topic here a little bit. But, this is going to be a year for Draymond to, prove what he's worth. He so far through these first 2 preseason games, he looks like he's in great shape. Doesn't look like that lower back is bothering him. And if he can get close to returning to that, first team all defense, defensive player of the year form, then yeah, the Warriors are going to have a decision to make, because at the end of the day, there is no Golden State Warriors dynasty without Draymond Green. All 3 of those guys, Steph, Clay, and Draymond, are so integral to what each other do, and they're all key cogs in this Golden State Warriors dynasty. So, if Draymond's out here playing at a high level, then this team's going to have a lot of decisions to make. I certainly do not envy what Bob Myers is going to have to sort through this offseason.
Ain't no doubt about that. That's well said. Hey, CJ, great stuff. Thanks for jumping on a busy day.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, that's CJ Holmes, Chronicle on the Warriors.